Steelers, coming off a disappointing loss on the road to the Browns, now take on their division rival Bengals. Cincy has had a tough season with countless close losses, but Russell Wilson and company are looking for a big bounce-back win. RC, coming to you here first. Does Pittsburgh have anything to prove against Cincinnati?
I believe they absolutely do. They have to prove that they can be consistent, that they can beat good football teams down the stretch when it matters most. When you looked at this schedule at the beginning of the season, the end of the season was what you pointed to as they played all of their divisional games. And after coming off of a loss to an inferior Cleveland Browns team on the road, they have to go out now and show that on the road against a Cincinnati Bengals team with an explosive offense, that Russell Wilson is enough, that this defense is enough, and that Coach Tomlin, one of the best coaches in all of football, can get his team focused down the stretch to make a playoff run.
Of course, they have a lot to prove. And this is, even though I was extremely pleased with Russell Wilson last week, it still comes back to a disturbing take on my partner, George Pickens. He said, the Browns aren't that good. That's cool. So to prove that that was a mistake, you have to prove yourself all over again. And I think we're not giving a lot of credit to how really competitive this AFC division is. Because, yeah, the Steelers are 8-3. We're looking at the Baltimore Ravens at 8-4. The Bengals are sitting off in the cut as they also do so many different times. They haven't been able to sustain early wins in the season over the last couple of years. We've already highlighted that over the weeks. But now this is when they really get in that groove. They really get in that groove as a team. And yes, are they pretenders or contenders from pretenders or contenders in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I would say they absolutely have plenty to prove, and more specifically on defense, I need to see if they can generate that typical Steelers pass rush that we've seen that we did not see against the Browns, where they only got to Jameis one time. I want to see also if they can hold up late. It's the third time in 7 games that they gave up a late touchdown. They lost 2 of those games, and in fact only beat the Ravens, of course, because they failed at that 2-point conversion. And then on offense, I need to see the same thing I've needed to see for weeks now. I need to see that they can score touchdowns. Yes, they went that 7 quarters without a touchdown, and then they got 2 in the fourth quarter against the Browns within 2 minutes of each other. But that offensive line has been giving up sacks at a rate they hadn't before. I think they're averaging 4 sacks per game over their last 2, and I need to see them implement Mike Williams. We talked about this, Ryan Clark. He catches the game winner against the Jets. He hasn't even been targeted since.
Yeah.
It's a bit more simplistic for me, ladies and gentlemen. The Steelers are the 30th ranked team. There are 32 teams in the National Football League. They rank 30th in red zone offense. The Bengals are one of the worst red zone defense. I'm talking about red zone. Steelers in the red zone, 30th. And the Bengals are one of the worst defensive teams in the red zone. 71% of the trips end up in the score in the red zone for against the Bengals. So I'm looking at it from that standpoint. I'm talking about touchdowns now. That's what they give up there. So I'm looking at it from that standpoint, and I think that's what this game is going to come down to, particularly with Jaylen Warren back in the lineup in the backfield with Najee Harris. They're averaging, what is it? I think about 147 yards per game. I'm looking at that, and I'm saying you can run the football. You can put yourself in positions to score against Cincinnati. You got to convert in the red zone.